Okay, let's look at the science. Now this is kind of fascinating as well. So this is kind of germane to all of the personalities. So there are fast circuits, and these circuits are what we call myelinated circuits. So what does myelinated mean? Myelinated means that they've been wrapped around with insulation. So what's the deal with that? Well, our brain is full of actual electrical circuits. There is electrical current flowing down each little dendrite of a neuron. And depending on how much insulation is around, it's actually fat that is wrapped around that neuron. That doesn't allow the electrical current to leak out of that membrane. Keeps it in there so that it takes less energy for it to go further, faster. So there'll be long segments of these dendrites and axons that are wrapped around with this material to make the connections move faster. How much faster? About 100 times faster. So think of it in terms of 100 miles per hour versus 1 mile per hour. So what's going to get to the destination faster? Any thought or process that's been myelinated. So in your personality circuits, you're going to have things that are myelinated. So they're on the superhighway to get to the rest of your consciousness. So your processing is going to go fast. And then your slow networks are going 1 mile per hour as they go through your brain. So it requires a lot more electricity. It actually requires a lot more energy for your brain to move slowly than it does quickly, because it has to go and has to refire and refire and refire. And it just takes a lot of time for your brain to do that, and a lot of energy. So your brain doesn't have the luxury to waste time and energy on things. So it uses the personality circuits to hotwire your brain to make the ideas that are prone to your personality come up first. So you can see, as we've been talking, there's a perceptual pathway that's fast-tracked every single time in a personality. It's like they're going to think that way first every single time. Why? Because it's the most efficient way, and it's already been wired, and so your brain is used to using it. And so you can see there become patterns in your brain. And it's all because they've been myelinated. So they've been used again and again and again and again and again and reinforced. And so that just doubles down on things. Now, Daniel Kahneman wrote a book called Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. It's not that we don't need to use our slow circuits. They're very important, because sometimes you need to have a new thought. You need to go down a new pathway other than the one that's already been determined by your personality. So sometimes this is where leaders have to step back and go, okay, this is how I would think of it, but how would the other person think of this? And use some of those slow circuits to connect with the people that are dislike you. So that's something that you're going to have to grow in. Just realize it's going to take a little bit of time. Give yourself that secondary thought to contemplate how this interaction is going on with a different personality type. Because your speed circuits are going to jump to conclusions and jump to biases just because that's the way you're wired. It's not because of a badness or a wrongness. It's just a mechanism of the brain. And it's very, very imbalanced. So that's why personality science is so powerful. People all have this hyper imbalance in the brain of 100 to 1 in terms of speed. So if you don't recognize that, you're just not going to see people for who they really are. So this is something that's critical. It's not necessarily germane to this particular trait, but it is true for every single personality. But you can see extroverts are very fast in coming to conclusions of, yay, let's go, yay, let's do, yay, let's be excited, yes, everyone should move in this direction. So it's going to take some people that are lower in extroversion to help them out. Be a little bit of a brake pedal, help them slow down and think about things. So it's one way to think about it. So specific to extroversion, these people are actually going to be high in oxytocin. So oxytocin is released when you meet people, when you have serotonin, when you have connections, and they're going to feel great about people. And it's going to cause trust, and it's going to cause interaction. So they're going to have this neurotransmitter in abundance in their particular brains. It's going to cause all of that happy, good connections. Hey, let's get together. Hey, let's work on this together kind of feelings, and that optimism. And yes, they're going to be driven by that dopamine as well. This is another high dopaminergic personality trait that is also probably entwined with serotonin. So you get some of this complexity here. It's not just a black and white, one or the other, but they all work together in the brain. But they're going to have a dominance in this particular molecule that is going to drive them to go out and do, go out and achieve, go out and just assert. So that is something that they need to be aware of.